Johnny Herbert collides with Pedro Diniz, but it's a clutch problem that ends the Brits' first race for the new Jaguar team. Front suspension failure undoes all of the Spaniards' hard work. Eddie Irvine gets caught up in the mayhem and both drivers are out of the race. The Big Cats leave Australia with their tails between their legs. Just behind, Trulli's hopes of a podium finish go up in flames. Sauber became the first team to withdraw from a Grand Prix for safety reasons since Renault in 1979. Both cars suffered rear wing failures, leaving Mika Salo and Pedro Diniz powerless to control their cars. Eddie Irvine looks good for Jaguar's first point, but he throws it all away, terminally damaging his car. Once again, the Big Cat's roar is reduced to a whimper. Barrichello and Coulthard are in for their second set of tyres and fuel, setting up a battle of the pit crews. The Brazilian is stationary first, putting pressure on the McLaren mechanics, but the English team respond brilliantly and put their man into third place. Ricardo Zonta spins out of the race at Stowe.
Drivers being weighed at the moment, as they must be. And a phone call, I would guess, from his fiancée.
From his fiancée? Or his dad.
For David Coulthard.
A different view of events on the track. A lack of rear-end grip is the least of his problems thanks to Pedro de la Rosa. But this time Schumacher has been given the all-clear too early and Chief Mechanic Nigel Stepney pays the price. Barrichello gets a good view of the battle for third. The Ferrari driver forces his brother wide. His teammate dives down the inside to snatch third. Marc Genet's hopes of repeating his sixth place finish here last year have been shattered. Pedro Diniz illustrates just how little traction there is at the moment. Side by side into turn one and Irvine spins. Irvine is just a passenger as he takes out Ralf Schumacher. The Jaguar's rear wing has also been damaged. Verstappen loses control of his arrows just a few corners later due to suspension damage. Alex Wurz tries a move inside Herbert at the last corner, which ends in disaster. Jenson Button breaks for the hairpin. The Brit tips Pedro de la Rosa's arrows into a spin and the usual Monaco congestion now becomes gridlock. A telemetry plate has slipped behind the brake pedal. The mechanics remove it, but the fin is now a lap down. Hakkinen exits the pits, forcing Ralf Schumacher offline, and the German spears the tyre wall. Williams technical director Patrick Head is justifiably concerned. His number one driver has suffered a nasty cut on his left leg. Frentzen moves up to second place. All too briefly as he joins the Sandevot Hall of Shame. Last of the late breakers, Villeneuve gets past Coulthard but takes out Ralf. Coulthard is just as aggressive in the battle for seventh. He collides with Alex Wurz's Benetton. This time, both drivers are able to continue. Lacey heads the battle for 14th as Heidfeld brakes far too late and puts his teammate into a spin. The veteran gets going again but loses several places in the process. Coulthard is now right up with Schumacher and goes around the outside on the approach to the Adelaide hairpin. The German refuses to yield. They touch, and the Scots' frustration is clear for all to see. Alesi survives a crazy move from Alex Wurz as the Austrian dives down the inside and straight into the gravel trap.
Well, I have to apologise for my hand gestures. That's not at all in keeping with the sport.
Michael, can you tell us, what was your version of events there?
One of these guys here went into the back of me and turned me around.
Frentzen is also past Herbert, but just as things are looking good for Jordan, the German spins on his own oil. It's an all-Prost midfield battle between Jean Alesi and Nick Heidfeld. The Frenchman dives to the inside of the German, but it all ends in tears as both are out of the race. The lights go out. Coulthard and Schumacher are slowly away, allowing Häkkinen through. The German looks around the outside of Coulthard's McLaren and veers into the path of Fisichella. The Italian is powerless to prevent an accident. It may well do as a spectator risks life and limb by running across the track. The safety car will have to be deployed as the lunatic is escorted away. Pedro Diniz and Jean Alesi collide, sending the Prost into the barriers and a sickening series of spins. Zonta instigates Craig Pollock's worst nightmare, but luckily both cars continue. It's all too much for Barrichello, who wins his first Grand Prix after 124 attempts. Fisichella is also in trouble. Brake problems and a damaged barge board make life difficult for the Italian. Button is also keen to move up, perhaps too keen as he tips Trulli into a spin. Häkkinen leads, but the Finn may be starting to feel the pressure as he loses control and spins. He's managed to get going again, but Schumacher takes the lead. Barrichello crawls into the pit lane on his last dregs of fuel. The Brazilian was running in 4th place. That won't put him in the good books of Ross Brawn and Jean Todt. Häkkinen is tucked right in Schumacher's slipstream. He tries a move down the inside, but the German shuts the door. The Finn wasn't too impressed with that move. Once again, Häkkinen has a good run through Eau Rouge, but this time Ricardo Zonta is in the way. The leaders go either side of the BAR, but Häkkinen has the better line and is through.
I knew that way following Michael, it's no point to try to follow him and then try to overtake him and at the straight, because obviously he's not going to give me a room. Is correct?
Yeah.
So I took plan B and overtook the back marker and at the same time overtook to Michael. And it was great overtaking maneuver and I loved it. I'm not sure if the Michael did.
The field power down to the new-look Rettifilo chicane. The new section is a worry to many drivers, but is of little concern now to both Saubers and Eddie Irvine. The Swiss cars continue, but the Ulsterman is out of the race. Frentzen starts a chain reaction that causes mayhem in front and behind. De La Rosa launches his arrows off Johnny Herbert's Jaguar and is lucky not to hit any of the drivers. A frustrated Trulli has been taken out for the second consecutive race, while Johnny Herbert's battle-scarred Jaguar limps into retirement. On board with Villeneuve as Schumacher's pre-start strategy catches out Jenson Button. The Brit has damaged his Williams and will need to pit immediately. Unfortunately for the young rookie, his car refuses to turn at the next corner and he is out of the race. The safety car pulls in and the race is back on.
I'm not sure if you're aware, but this is your 41st victory, which puts you equal second all time with Ayrton Senna. Do those records mean a lot to you?
Yes, it does mean a lot to me. Sorry.
Unfortunately, the celebrations were soured by the death of Italian Fire Marshal Paolo Ghislimberti, who died after being struck by debris from the opening lap pile-up. Not that they'll have to worry about Häkkinen any longer. A blown engine takes care of the fin. Mazzacane is racing out of his skin, but his braking leaves much to be desired. Michael Schumacher could do with a wake-up call as his concentration drops for a second, but that's all it takes to lose control. Alesi's misery continues as his Peugeot engine blows, forcing the Frenchman into a spin on his own oil. Michael Schumacher wins the Japanese Grand Prix and the 2000 Drivers' Championship. He is Ferrari's first world champion since Jody Scheckter in 1979.
You're great, Ross. You're great, Ross. All of you guys. No, I can't. Oh, we did it. We did it. Oh, thanks. Oh, he's Corina, a big kiss for me.
The midfield and tail enders jockey for position, but four cars won't fit into one racing line, as Deniz, both Prosts and De La Rosa demonstrate. Having already announced his retirement from F1, Johnny Herbert's career comes to a dramatic end. Ferrari wrap up the Constructors' title in style.
We did it. We won the Constructor Championship after all. Not by just taking 3 points, by winning and becoming third. That's just, I think, the right result, what the team deserves.
After all that hard work, it's time to party. Schumacher equals his tally of wins in 1995. Ferrari take the Constructors' title by 18 points from McLaren.